Touré from MSNBC went on a terrible, terrible rant on the cycle the other day, and he was basically saying, I don't want a progressive in office. I want somebody who is Republican light, because he thinks that that's more electable. So listen to what he says here, and then I'll explain why he's wrong with pretty much every single point he makes.
The current battle, led by a careerist centrist who coddles Wall Street, or do they fight to become the party of a true liberal philosopher who's unafraid of Wall Street, like Elizabeth Warren? The rise of the populist wing of real liberalism is thrilling, and I'm proud to vote for that. But unless I move back to Boston, that's not happening, and I'm okay with that. Let me tell you why. When I was a kid, I was fascinated with politics, and in 1980, I stayed up late watching the returns, knowing that Carter would win, and then...
Reagan is our projected winner. Ronald Wilson Reagan of California, a sports announcer, a film actor, a governor of California, is our projected winner.
In 1984, it was even more painful.
NBC News now is able to project the re-election of Ronald Wilson Reagan.
In 1988, I interned for the Dukakis campaign, so I was devastated, though not shocked, when...
NBC News projecting George Bush the winner tonight in the presidential election, putting together at least 279 electoral votes to beat Michael Dukakis in the race for the presidency of the United States.
So I'm not ashamed to say I'm willing to sacrifice some of what I believe in as a liberal to get behind a moderate Dem who's electable, and you should be too. The party should not be willing to risk a national election to see if the nation is ready for a liberal president, something they haven't even asked since Mondale got crushed. Like him, Warren is a true liberal. But she's also an inexperienced national candidate who fits neatly into the classic caricature of Dems as effete latte-sipping, Volvo-driving Ivy Leaguers. But the bigger argument is about what sort of party the Dems are going to be. And I know liberalism is about dreaming big and wanting to change the world and helping the downtrodden, and I love that about liberalism. But American political change is always incremental, never radical. And the closer your candidate is to the ideological edge of either party, the more radical the change they propose is, then the riskier they are. Demanding ideological purity out of your presidential candidate is the path to defeat. I hope Warren continues to stand down so that the most electable Democrat we've had in decades can win. At a moment when we are looking at a potential 2014 disaster, Dems have got to worry more about pragmatism than about political purity. That test is destroying the Republican Party.
Yes, it is destroying the Republican Party. The ideological purity on the right is destroying the party on the right. It does not destroy the Democrats. It does not destroy the party on the left. Now, why is that? Because our ideas are popular. Their ideas are not. So, for example, here are actual progressive priorities. A minimum wage increase. About 80% of the American people are in favor of that. Single-payer health care. About 60% of the American people are in favor of that. Universal education. Action on global warming. More unions. Drug decriminalization. Gay marriage. 59% of people are with us on that. Less war. I mean, only 17% of people are still in favor of staying in Afghanistan. Immigration reform. Protection of Social Security, 58% say don't cut Social Security, don't cut Medicare under any circumstance ever. That's what progressives stand for, and this is the same thing that the American people want. So our ideas are popular. Somebody who's ideologically pure on the left is with the American people. Somebody who's ideologically pure on the right is not. They're hated by the American people. Their ideas are not popular. Their ideas are disliked by the American people. And again, I'm just going by the polls here. I'm just going by what the numbers say. I'm going by what the actual data is. And also, Elizabeth Warren stands for those things that the American people are in favor of. So you can't play this false equivalence game of, well, purity on the left and the right doesn't work. No. So let me break this down a little more for you. Comparing Elizabeth Warren to Michael Dukakis and to Democrats who got their ass kicked in the 70s and the 80s, it's absurd. And it's absurd for two reasons. Number one, they're just different people. Michael Dukakis is not somebody who gets people excited. He was just a bad candidate. He's just not popular. He's just not somebody who caught on. All right? That's point number one. Point number two, the country was completely different back then. You have to understand that in the 70s and the 80s, liberals were associated, rightly or wrongly, they were 100% associated with hippies. They were viewed as, oh, these hippie guys who want to check out of society, and they're smelly, and they got this free love thing going on, and they got LSD and rock and roll. And again, rightly or wrongly, the Democratic Party was viewed as associated with those people. So mainstream America said, yeah, we really don't care what their policies are. Their policies might have been smart and good. But the American people said, nah, they don't seem like we would like them because they're kind of kooky, so we're not with them. But today, liberals are not hippies. Liberals are not hippies. Nobody's popping LSD and wearing tie-dye shirts and putting flowers in the barrel of guns right now. Today, it's the liberals who are viewed as the sane ones in America. You have to understand the roles have reversed with George W. Bush and Dick Cheney and Donald Rumsfeld and the neoconservatives, and then with the Tea Party after that. Right now, it is the right wing that is engaged in their hippie moment. You see what I'm saying? They are now viewed by the American people as, whoa, those guys are crazy war hawks and religious zealots and flat earthers, and they just seem like they're all around not connected to reality. This is their hippie moment. So you have to realize, man, to say something like Hillary is unbeatable also, that is empirically not true because she was already beaten by President Obama. Everybody said the same thing in 2007, 2008. Well, no, I mean, Hillary's the lock, right? Hillary's the one that's impossible to beat. And who's this new guy? Inexperienced. He just said about Elizabeth Warren, oh, she's inexperienced. The same fucking thing that people said about Barack Obama when he was against Hillary Clinton. I mean, his rant here is so off base. It's honestly, it's comical. Like, it's amazing. I was tweeting about this earlier. I'm surprised at how little he knows about politics. And look, Touré's a guy who he's a mixed bag. Many times he says things that I agree with, but this is just, I mean, it's just sad. And then when he admits, here's the main point, man. When he admits that he's willing to sacrifice what he believes in for electability, me and him are totally different human beings. I could not disagree with him more. All that matters is policy. That's what smart people care about in politics, is the policy. The only reason I'm interested in politics is to try to get people universal health care and try to raise the minimum wage and try to increase unionization and try to stop the war on the middle class and try to end American imperialism and stop people from dying all over the place. That's the only reason I'm interested in politics. If the Democrats don't represent those ideas, then why the fuck should I vote for them? Why would I do that? Just abandon everything that I actually believe in and is true to my core, and everything that is right, abandon that. Abandon your moral code and your ethical code for the greater good of this vague, amorphous, abstract idea of the Democratic Party. Fuck the Democratic Party. If they don't represent the things I just laid out, then they're just as useless as the Republicans. And that's what Hillary Clinton is, too, I should mention. She's a corporatist. She just recently took about $400,000 to speak in front of Goldman Sachs. She's taken millions upon millions of dollars throughout her career from Wall Street and from special interests and from the rich and from corporations. She's gonna represent them. She's not gonna represent you or me or us.